Aspirations, I mean, really, doing maybe a support group, I think would be a really amazing thing for me to do around sexual assault, and then one for domestic violence. In face, I think that would be awesome to do. It's going to take a while just to get all the okays and liability stuff under control, but I would love to do that. I think that would be something that I could bring that's different, and that would be very beneficial for our community because it's something that we're lacking. So that would be one of my highest aspirations, is to do something like that and to do more education. Like I've asked Mel at the center to let me come in and do their youth group and to come in and do empowerment, and in face I think would be the best way, because the work that I do is specific to UNLV, and while I am on the board for the Nevada State Coalition, and I can take on that role, but I think that again, like, my mission is to educate as a sister about these things, so kind of doing those presentations in face for the community would be really great. So working a little bit more on that side, and bringing maybe some more literature, doing maybe some pamphlets on stuff like that, but also to maybe some of our other orders around the world to kind of, because the sisters have always been known for HIV, AIDS awareness, education. And while that's our foundation and it's something that's very important and very needed, I think that it would be great to also have some more education on other issues. And they do, a lot of sisters take on breast cancer or heart disease, things like that I've seen. But really talking about, hey, maybe educating some of our other sisters as well about how to take that on, or how to work in conjunction, because they may not feel comfortable doing that, but work in conjunction with some of their anti-violence organizations in their cities. So something around that, definitely in a while from now, but that would be something that I'd want. As an order, I think it would be important. I love SADAP. I think it is the most amazing program that we can do because of the not having the restrictions that sometimes federal money can do to an organization. I think it would be important for us to remember our roots, though, and to remember the political aspect of the sisters, and to not forget that. Because I think that, as I've worked in nonprofits, a lot of times they start off this grassroots activism, and they become so powerful, and then there's that need for money. And once there's that need for money, then it's like, okay, well, if I do X, then they may not appreciate that or feel that it's okay, so then that money can stop. And you see that a little bit with SADAP, and I think the best example I can give was with the whole domestic partnership situation, and we were asked to come do the first domestic partner ceremony at the Erotic Heritage Museum, and the sisters were asked to participate, just to be there, and we got a huge backlash. Even that event got a pretty big backlash, which it was stopped. They did not do it, and the community said, you can't do that because then that's just going to show that it's a circus, and Elvis was going to be the person doing the vows, and you have these penises on the sides as the columns, and this is the first domestic partnership in Nevada, and this is what the world's going to see of us and going to think again, see, this is why we don't give them marriage equality. Well, this could be definitely a backlash, and if we go out there and still do this, what is that going to mean for our order? And are people going to want to help the sisters, or are people going to want to give money to the sisters because we're still doing something that the community in essence didn't want? You saw that with Prop 8 and some of the sisters doing the ceremonies, and you saw this backlash of, please just stay back in the closet. Part of the community to be seen, we want to kind of become these mainstream queer people who, have these responsible jobs and look a specific way. They look pretty straight, they could pass for straight, So I think that it's important as an order not to lose our foundation as where we started, and to remember that while it's definitely important to have the support of all of our community and for money reasons as well, but to not lose who we are in that process. I don't see it as much as when I worked at the Rape Crisis Center, because then, you know, you had the hotline that you'd answer, you'd go to the actual hospitals and sit with people as they had just been raped. So I right now I don't have that day to day, but it's still a constant conversation. It's still everywhere out there. But I think that, you know, people in general, survivors definitely, because even though, yes, the crime of sexual assault or the crime of domestic violence is horrible, the survival is pretty amazing. To see people come from this space of being angry and being, you know, having all this suffering, to then growing from that and becoming a survivor and someone who can really go out there and talk about how wrong this is and what we could do to stop it, that really helps. That continues to kind of put that fire in me and say, you know, we want to continue doing this work, or at least I want to continue doing this work. Are there times where I just want to give up? Definitely. Definitely times where you're just like, am I really doing anything? Am I really changing anything? Because sexual assault is still occurring, domestic violence is still occurring, so what have I really done? I'm not stopping it from happening. But if you could be there for someone and just listen, and maybe you're that first person that they told about what happened to them, that again is that reinforcement of, you know, this is needed.